This is Ray.
And this is Andy.
And this is Local Sports Buzz.
How's it going this week, Ray?
It's going great this week, Andy. Lots of great stuff going on in the world of sports here in Moncton.
Yeah, and we are back on location.
Back on location. Yeah. We don't know where we are yet.
No.
They blindfolded us again. But there seems to be a lot of work going on here around the stadium.
Absolutely, and I'm really trying to figure out where this is. I'll tell you something. There was a little hole in my blindfold, and I caught little bits and pieces of the trip.
Yeah.
I think we might be in Skiduk.
Skiduk?
Yeah, can you imagine?
Wow.
How's a Halifax CFL team going to play in Skiduk?
Wow, I have no idea how long I was blindfolded. So
I only saw bits and pieces of it, so I'm not sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All I noticed was they were bringing in all kinds of new popcorn machines as we were getting out of the car coming in. So there you go.
The turf down there looks pretty similar to last week.
It looks fantastic. It was really coming along.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want a little update on some of the things we talked about last week?
Yeah, let's get a little update. What's going on with the Magic?
So last week, the Magic were wrapping up their season. They had the 2 games left. They were playing twice against the St. John team, and dubbed the Battle of the 506.
Yeah.
And we thought that was pretty cool, right?
It was awesome, the 506.
Well, there was a chance that if St. John got their act together and made up a game, they would end up in the 3rd seed and play us in the playoffs. Yeah. So we would have a playoff Battle of the 506.
Wow.
And guess what? It happened.
It happened.
Now, I mentioned last week I couldn't find any information about the playoffs because nobody was updating their websites, and I went to Wikipedia, and it didn't give me a whole lot. Well, I have some details for you now.
We do.
All right. So Moncton's the 2 seed in the division. St. John's the 3 seed. And in round 1 of the NBL playoffs, it's a 5-game series.
5-game series.
5-game series.
Wow.
So games 1 and 2 are here in Moncton, obviously, because we were the top seed out of the 2. And they're here on April 8th and April 9th. The 8th is a Sunday, so that'll be a 1 p.m. game. And then on Monday, it's at 7 p.m. After that, the series heads to St. John. If Game 5 is needed, it'll be back here on Monday, April the 16th to wrap it up. So let's hope our Magic take care of business down in St. John. It's fun to see the series win, but no, let's just, in these early stages, let's just take care of business, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're playoffs now.
Absolutely. It's playoff. Get out there and support them. Now, these are the top 2 defenses in the NBL, so expect really tough games. Every single shot's going to be contested. The Battle of the 506 is for real.
It's for real.
It should be, as good old JR used to say, a slobber knocker.
A slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
Nice.
Now, tickets to that game go on sale tomorrow. You can buy them online, or if you're still keeping it late 90s, you can call them. There's a phone number. I mean, if that's what you want to do. I know you like calling for things. So.
I do like calling for things, but the shopping online, it's coming along. It's coming along.
It's been a heck of a regular season for the Moncton Magic. Remember I was telling you at the beginning of the year, we brought in the leading scorer of the league, Anthony Anderson, for the team. But it was actually Terry Thomas who turned out to be the star of the Moncton Magic. He led the way in points and in rebounds, 19.8 points per game. Almost hit that 20 mark, Terry, and 7 rebounds per game. Well done, leading the way. Good luck in the playoffs, guys. And again, anybody who watches this, they don't have the greatest attendance. It's playoff time. Get out there and support the team.
Now, your buddy Duncan, is he all primed up for playoffs? What can we expect from Duncan in the playoffs?
The rumor is still the same. Nobody's seen him practice this. Nobody's seen him attempt this. But I hear he will drag a trampoline out and attempt to dunk.
Nice.
And live up to his name. Again, that's the only news I have.
This could be a horrendous disaster.
I think he's practicing it somewhere undisclosed.
Okay.
All right.
I look forward to it.
How about I hand things over to you for an update on what you were telling us about last week?
Sounds great. So last week, you guys know that I was talking about the major AAA Pee Wee hockey team, and those kids had just won the New Brunswick Championship, and they were heading off to the Atlantics. Okay?
Right. Yep.
Well, earlier this year on Buzz Local, we talked about the major AAA midget hockey team. Well, I've got an update on this team.
Awesome.
There's some really exciting news going on with the midget AAAs. They won the province of New Brunswick, and they just represented New Brunswick at the Atlantics this past weekend.
All right, and so just so I know what we're working with here, how old are the midget AAAs again?
These are kids between the age of 15 and 18.
Okay.
Okay.
So these guys are hitting. And everything.
This is
fun
hard
stuff.
hockey. These are the kids that are looking for spots in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and some of these kids will find spots in the draft this year for the Q upcoming draft in 2018.
Okay.
There are 6 teams that are taking place in the Atlantics. You've got a team from each of the 4 provinces. Sorry, 5 teams. Team from each of the 4 provinces, and then there's a host team. Okay. So you had the Kensington Wild representing PEI, Cole Harbour Wolfpack for Nova Scotia, St. John's Maple Leafs from St. John's, Newfoundland. You had Dartmouth Steel Subaru, who was the host team, and then, of course, your Moncton Flyers.
Moncton Flyers.
After the round robin, the Dartmouth Steel Subarus, which was the team that Sidney Crosby played AAA for.
Okay.
It might have been. It was the Dartmouth team.
Right.
The Dartmouth Steel Subaru and the Moncton Flyers finished 1 and 2 after the round robin, so they got the bye to the championship game.
You know these guys are legit when they're called the Subarus.
That's right.
There's a sponsorship happening.
There's a sponsorship taking place right there.
Yeah.
Now, going into this championship game, you would think that Moncton was going to be in for a tough game, because when I looked at the top 10 scorers of the round robin, 6 players came from Dartmouth. A kid by the name of Ozzie King, Ben Allison, Jacob Quinlan, Dave Gagnon, Mike McKay, and Isaac Chapman.
Ozzie,
6 players from the Dartmouth team.
Wow.
Versus Moncton had 2 players in the top 10 scoring, Patrick LeBlanc and Cole Stewart. Okay. So you knew it was going to be a tough game going into this championship game. Let me get into the game now. Puck drops, and literally 39 seconds into the first period, Ben Allison from Dartmouth scores the first goal of the game.
Ooh.
That goal was assisted by Matt McKay and Isaac Chapman. So that's a tough way to start a game.
That's rough.
39 seconds into a game.
Mm-hmm.
And about 7 minutes later, Dartmouth scores a second goal by Dave Gagnon. So now Moncton's down 2-0. They came out a little flat-footed.
Yep.
Right? They needed to
flat
skated. There you go. They needed to find a way to regroup as a team, mentally get back into the game and get going. First period ended 2-0. They came out in the second period, and in the second period at 13:54, Moncton finally gets on the board by Lucas Cormier, who the goal was assisted by Mark Richard and Cole Cormier.
Okay.
They climb back into the game. Lucas Cormier is a 15-year-old defenseman that logged a ton of minutes in this championship game with his partner Winters. And this kid here will be seeing him playing in the Quebec Major Junior League. So
Excellent.
Watch out for this kid here, this Lucas Cormier. Second period ends 2-1 for Dartmouth. Third period, with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the third period.
Crunch time.
Mark Richard from the Moncton Flyers scores a goal, assisted by Julien Hebert and Miguel Poirier.
Right on.
So there's nothing more exciting with a goal at the end of regulation to head into overtime for a championship. Just to break down the shots on goal, in the first period, Dartmouth outshot Moncton 13-5. In the second period, Moncton outshot Dartmouth 15-7. And in the third period, Moncton outshot them 10-6. I really have to give Daniel Thompson, the goalie for the Moncton Flyers, huge props, coming out with 2 quick goals on him, 2-0.
Yep.
To hold that net for the rest of the game and make it possible for these guys to climb back in and get into overtime was fantastic.
That a boy, Daniel.
That's it.
Great job.
So let's get into overtime.
All right.
There was not 1 overtime period, but 2 overtime periods in this hockey game. There's nothing more exciting than a son and death overtime hockey game. In this situation. In the first period, Moncton had a few opportunities to actually hit the post. They made a couple good plays, but there were some key saves by the Dartmouth goaltender. In the second overtime period,
Second overtime, yep.
with 54 seconds remaining in the period. The puck is coming down the left-hand side of the boards. A player by the name Cole Darash takes a shot, throws it on net, and Cole Stewart comes in and crashes the nets, gets one or maybe two rebounds off the goalie, and finally pops it in for your game winner.
Oh, wow.
In double overtime with less than a minute left to go in the game. It was crazy. The kids are crawling over the boards. They're jumping all over the place. It was a huge accomplishment for this team that at the beginning of the season, they only had 2 kids that were the age 17. So this is a very young team. They have 7 15-year-olds on this team.
Wow.
So they have done very well this year. And now they are headed off to the TELUS Cup.
TELUS.
April the 23rd to the 29th, and it's taking place in Sudbury, Ontario.
Lovely Sudbury.
What is in Sudbury?
Hey.
2017 was won. The 2017 TELUS Cup was won by the Cape Breton West team, and it was the first time in the history of the National AAA Midget Championship that an Atlantic team had won a championship. So it will be great if Moncton can find a way and go back-to-back TELUS championships for the Atlantic provinces.
And it was in Sudbury before?
No, I don't know where it was last year. We'd have to fact-check those details.
It's not a problem. Yeah.
And our fact-checker, Nick Dunn, is not on set with us.
He's not here.
Right?
No big deal.
And his facts aren't usually that accurate anyways. Yeah. But this team is prepared to take on the rest of Canada. They can definitely skate with the rest of the country. They've got speed. They're young. Congratulations to the coaches, John DeCourcy. Wait till you hear this. Steve McPherson, Matt Cooling, and Brandon Mullins.
Okay.
Now, I bring that up because last week we talked about Mountain Woods, and there's always a Mountain Woods tie here, right?
Yeah, right.
Again, Steve McPherson and Brandon Mullins is the new team, this dream team that I've been talking to you about. So I'm wondering to myself, is this really a big accomplishment for this team, or is the McMullins factor played a huge role here for this team?
Potentially.
They've already started the winning mindset, this McMullins group. Watch out for them.
All right.
Plus, there's all kinds of volunteers with this team. This team has put in the effort all year long. They have a team physiotherapist, Carol Poirier. They have mental resilience, Leslie Smith. And don't forget, their team manager is the one and only Brett Doyle.
Brett Doyle.
I mean,
Doyle's
if
rule.
it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have these hats that sit above our heads right now.
Thank you so much, Brett.
So that's my update on the Midget AAA Flyers. I'm going to be watching this series or watching this tournament very closely on April 23rd. It will all be televised on YouTube. And Andy, I can't wait to give you guys another update here on Local Sports Buzz on what's happened with this team.
Great job, guys. This is why you lace them up.
That's it. And with that, I'm going to pass the puck over to you so we can talk some more hockey.
Exactly. You mentioned the Q. We talked about it a little bit last week. The Moncton Wildcats in the playoffs. I have an exciting update for you.
Awesome.
Just last night, the Moncton Wildcats took home the victory 6-3 in Rimouski, Game 7.
Wow.
To win the series.
Congratulations.
Great job, guys, on the road. Really tough crowd in Rimouski, I hear.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of bad blood between the teams. I didn't follow it too closely, but I think the coaches had a few things to say about the other players, so it was going to be a hostile environment. They went in and they looked after it. Moving on to round 2, the Moncton Wildcats. Next up, I'm going to try my best to pronounce this, the Blainville-Boisbriand Armada.
That's much better than I would have done.
Absolutely. I knew that much.
Much better.
That doesn't mean it was right, though. All right? The Armada. And we're going to start on the road Friday night at 8 p.m. and then again on Sunday at 4 p.m. Both games will be broadcasted on Sportsnet if you want to check them out. The teams will be back in Moncton on Tuesday and Wednesday next week, 7 p.m. at night. You can get your tickets now. You can get them again online if you want. Or if you're keeping it late 90s, 857-4100 is the number that you call if you want to get your tickets. I hear they were on sale today, and the radio station was telling everybody, but didn't bother telling them that they only went on sale at 12.
Ooh.
So a bunch of people went there at 10 trying to get their playoff tickets. We're told you got to come back. Let me tell you, do it online. All this traveling around stuff. Come on. Yeah, listen, it was raining out this morning.
That's
right?
terrible.
Now, if you want a great source for Moncton Wildcats news and information on the fly, I want to mention a buddy of ours. He goes by the handle Hotshot. But Adam, a friend of ours, started up a podcast for the Moncton Wildcats and a Twitter account in which he gives constant updates. You can find him on Twitter at Moncton Wildcast. See what he did there?
Wildcast. That's very clever.
Right? And in his description on Twitter and all throughout his feed, you can find links to his most recent podcast if you want to check that out. I was actually checking his Twitter account on the way over here, and I found out something very interesting and a bit disappointing, I think, about the Wildcats, and that is this. Game 5, if it's needed, actually has to take place in Fredericton because of a car show.
Car show?
We're talking round 2 playoff hockey, the Q, our biggest hockey team in this city, and we have to have them go play in Fredericton because of a car show?
Andy, it happens all the time. Year after year, they have the car show, the RV show, the boat show, the home show. There has been things over the years that have caused the Moncton Wildcats to have to play their playoff games somewhere else other than the Coliseum because we have to facilitate these these events. And I'm hoping, I'm praying, my fingers are crossed, that when we move into the new facility downtown, that the shows will remain at the Coliseum so that if we want to go see the Moncton Wildcats play Game 4 of the second series, that we can go to our stadium and watch that hockey game.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping. Let's hope these car shows stay at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Once the hockey team moves downtown. So anyways, best of luck, guys. Again, follow at Moncton Wildcast on Twitter. Our buddy Adam will keep you looped in on everything that's going on. It should be very, very exciting. Time to move on to round 3, hopefully.
That would be great.
And by next week, we should have a really good update for you, at least on how the series is going.
Awesome.
All right.
Sounds great. One last quick shout-out we have to give out. The Masters is this weekend.
Okay.
And
shout out Masters. I'm sure they're watching.
You know, your buddy, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, Bubba Watson.
Let's go,
all
Bubba.
these guys, they're primed, they're ready, they're looking great. There's about 5 or 6 guys that could come in and win this tournament very easily. But I'm sticking with your buddy, my buddy, Tiger Woods. I'm on the Woods bandwagon, and we're going to ride that right to Sunday around 7 o'clock when he gets the green jacket.
Gotcha. All right, guys, as always, firstdownsportspodcast.com is where you can find us if you want to reach out and let us know about a sporting event going on in your life, no matter how big or small. We told you before, bowling, darts, curling, washer toss. You let us know. And we'll come check it out if you give us the invite, or you give us the information and we'll relay it here. So for this week, on behalf of myself and Ray here and the entire grounds crew, we're putting in some hard work.
They're doing a great job.
We'll talk to you next week.
Have a great week.